Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the Fan Zone show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, and Hope Against Cancer. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Tonight we've got a very special guest. We will be focusing on the Women's Super League as Leicester City Women prepare for their first game on Saturday against Aston Villa. It's going to be a tough one. It's nerve-wracking, as you can tell. We'll be joined by Holly Morgan, now first-team coach with Jonathan Morgan. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, anywhere you can find us. Thank you to these guys, ADT, Hologram, Pizza, Tiger, Pinky Leasing, Leicester Riders, the Fox's Arms, and Hope for Charity. So, guys, if you're watching us now, smash a like on this live for me. Share the stream, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV, join in the debate. If you've got any questions for Holly Morgan, be sure to get them into me and I will get them in on screen. If you're watching on playback, we are live Monday at 7:30, Wednesday 7:30. There won't be a Thursday show this week, but Tom will be back next Thursday at 7:30, Friday 7:30 with Reedy, and the legendary Aftermath show with Jamie Preston on Sunday at 9:30. So, guys, let's get Holly in and let's talk about the Leicester City Women and her footballing career. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Let's have Jono in. Jono, how are you?
Not bad, how are you?
Yeah, let's get a few good evenings in before we start the show. Kane, hello. Hello to Phil. Unless I'm Phil and I've got grey hair, then you call me Phil. Maz, hello. Andy Sheba, hello. Hello, Ross. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Gray, how are you, pal? Gray Richardson said, "Hi, Holly. Nice to meet you. Such a pretty face."
Thank you, Gray.
Callow says hello. So then, Holly, first team coach at Leicester City Women's Football Club. 17-year footballing career. I believe it started at the age of 11.
Yes, it is. At Leicester City as well. So I was a part of the RTC, played through the age groups, then the reserves, and then the first team. And this is the first season where I've not been involved as a player. And then I made the transition from a player to a first team coach. So that's been quite an interesting journey. But 17 years, it sounds like a long time, man. Gosh.
It's crazy how fast time goes. What was it like growing up within and going up the ranks at Leicester City?
I think for me, like my experiences were, some good, some bad. For me, I started off like in the under 12s. Like I said, I had some good times, some bad times. I think football is quite a hard sport. It's very competitive. I think there's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself as an individual. But for me, it was just all about playing football. I enjoyed it, but I was also really serious about my education as well. So I was always very serious about football, but also my education. So both of them, I was just kind of fully committed to. Going through the ranks, it was just kind of the way I developed and progressed. And I think I was just somebody that tried to just always compete with those above me, always tried to do my best. And I think for me, I've played football since, I can remember. I'd play in the garden with my brother. I've always been competitive. So I've always wanted to do better and be better. So I think for me, it's just a natural progression of wanting to get to the first team eventually. And then once I did, it was a hard task. We kind of went through a little bit of a hard time in terms of we got relegated and then we had to kind of find our way again. And it's really nice to see that like this Saturday we'll be playing in WSL. because I kind of know where we've come from and where we are now, and I've been a part of that journey. So I think for me, I'm proud of that. And in terms of going through the ranks, it makes all of those hard days, and sometimes you question yourself, like on a cold and windy Saturday when you're playing football, you question like, oh, why am I out here? Why am I not doing an indoor sport? Like Saturday, it'll be a nice feeling to know that like all of that has led to this moment, which is quite a nice feeling. I can say that now, not back then when I was, you know, in the cold, in the snow, thinking, why am I doing this?
Not like a cold Monday night in Stoke.
Oh,
or wet one.
Gosh, no.
You can't deal with things like that. You made your first appearances in the 2010 season. What would you say you've improved on in that since then? Obviously, your footballing career, your retirement, and that came at the end of last season. What changed? How did you develop as a player from 2010 season to where you are now?
In all honesty, I think my development, I felt like I became a lot more free and confident in myself with the managers that I had. And if I'm being honest, and I'm not being biased, but I think Jonathan, I know he's my brother, he's incredibly hard on me. And a lot of people would think, oh, I had it easy having like a family member in charge of the team. Of course, it's easy. It would be an advantage, but it was actually a disadvantage in many respects. But I think I felt the most free when playing under Jonathan. And I think that's when I developed the most in terms of being more comfortable. And I think by being more confident, then that brings out so much more in your game. And I think I had a lot more confidence during those periods than probably what I had at the beginning of my time playing, making the breakthrough from the reserves to the first team.
So you made 294 appearances and scored 12 goals. Which one was your best of the 12 goals, if you can remember them?
I can. So the infamous year when we won 22 out of 22 games, same season that Leicester won the Premier League. Amazing year for us. And it was the last game of the season. We were playing Wolves and they were close, like they were our hardest competitors that season. And I scored from a corner to make it 1-0. And then they got one back, and then we scored in literally the last second of the game to make it 2-1. And for me, that would be one of my most favorite goals because it helped us to win basically 22 out of 22 games. And that memory of that game will forever be one of my favorite moments in my footballing time.
Was that the one when your dad was running down the touchline?
Yes, I can just remember.
There we go.
So Helen scored. And then we're running to Jonathan, and in the corner of my eye, I see my dad, like his knees are getting so high, his arms are moving, and he's just going up and down, and I can hear him shouting. And it was just, absolute scenes. Loved it.
It's good to see that a dad enjoys his football.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Holly, how did it feel captaining Leicester City then?
In all honesty, I remember when I was in the under-14s and they gave us like this slip at during pre-season, and they said what my aims were. And one of my aims I put down when I was 13, I said to be captain for Leicester City. And I always just had that feeling. I thought like as an individual, I don't know, I just felt like it was something that I would be capable of doing one day. So to finally become captain, and I also think it's important to know that I became captain before Jonathan was manager. So
there we go. Yeah.
So I like to make that clear. It's just a responsibility that I took very seriously, and I think being a captain is more really about what you do off the pitch. And I think I'm very proud as to how I conducted myself and how I helped those around me to ensure that, you know, it was a good environment that we were in. Players felt comfortable and confident. And overall, I think being a captain, you just got to support and lead in so many ways. So for me, like it's always been a proud moment to be able to be captain because I've been with Leicester since I was 11. Of course, there's a family tie, so I feel much more emotionally connected to the club. So to be captain, I felt Very proud.
Yeah. So who was your footballing idol then, Holly, growing up in football itself, in the sport?
That's a hard one because if I'm being honest, I watched it, but when I think of like an idol that I looked up to when I was young, it
Yeah.
didn't really come from football. It was more from
No.
tennis, Serena and Venus Williams.
Yeah,
So whilst I watched football and I enjoyed watching it, and certain players caught my eye, when I think of an idol and about being an athlete and that strength and courage that you have to be an athlete, I always have to say like it's Serena and Venus. And I know they're not football players, but for me, they did a lot for me when I was growing up in terms of the strength that they showed and what they experienced, what they had to go through. I found a lot of similarities with them. So yeah, I have to kind of say those two if I'm being honest.
I guess they've been great idols, haven't they, throughout the women's sport in general, where women can actually look up for them and think, I actually want to be like that. And
yeah,
I guess that gives you the confidence growing up as like a little girl, doesn't it, to actually think you can actually be like that one day if you put your mind to it.
100%. And I think for me, it's also nice to see, like for me, like I know like my time as a player, representation is a big thing. And when you see people that look like you, have similarities to you, you can kind of believe it more that you're capable or able to achieve certain things. So I think that was really important as a youngster growing up.
Yeah.
Saying that as well. Saying that as well, like Rachel Yankee was a player that I always liked to watch. On the ball, she was so creative and so good on the ball that I do remember her being as a player that when I was younger, I would always just want to watch or know more about.
Yeah, she's won quite a bit in her career, hasn't she? At Arsenal, was it?
Yes.
Retirement then. You retired at the age of 28. Was it something you thought about coaching? Obviously, you're now a first-team coach at the Leicester City Women. Is it something you looked into last season?
I wanted to do it around 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
But several reasons why I didn't. One being was it the first or second year when we were in the championship, we went for like a really, really young squad. And at the time, like my dad, who was the chairman, and Jonathan just kind of asked like if I could stay on as a player to kind of provide a little bit more experience, because I think the average age of our team was like 16, 17 years. So it was kind of, I wanted to make the transition, but it was also a case of helping and supporting where needed. But I'd been doing my coaching badges, so it was always in my head to coach. So I've always placed myself in a position where now that I'm becoming a UEFA A licensed coach, I've done all the work so that now that I'm a first team coach, I've got the qualifications and I've got the relevant experience because I've already been coaching. So for me, it was a decision that had been made about 2.5 years ago, but I was finally able to do it at the halfway point of last season and officially this season.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for Holly Morgan then? Will she be future Leicester City manager?
What a question. You know what? I think this is such a hard question to answer because who knows? For me, I just know that I thoroughly enjoy coaching and I thoroughly enjoy like learning from Jonathan, like building up my experience. And in all honesty, like we have a nice coaching setup so that it's for me right now, I'm very happy with how it's going, and who knows what the future holds. I can't answer that.
There's been quite a few like women's managers, haven't they? Like the Chelsea manager, obviously the former England manager as well. There's been quite a few in the game. Obviously, some of them have been spoke about to managing the men's level of football. Is that something where you look at and think I can actually be like that in the end of like when you take your coaching and that?
I think for me, whether it's the men or women's game, I would just like to get to the highest point that I think I'm capable of coaching at. And for me, like I do have high aspirations. I do believe in myself as a coach. So whether that would be in the men or the women's game, I just think it's based on the opportunities and what feels right to me. But I would definitely like to always feel like I'm being challenged. So whether, like I said, that's in the men or women's game, either or, it depends, like I said, what opportunities arise and at what point in my life certain options or opportunities come to me.
Yeah, what's it like working with Emile Heskey then, former Leicester City striker?
Oh, he's such a cool guy, you know, like he's just so easy. He's just like oozes just like a cool vibe. Like he's very easy to get on with. He definitely like gives and shares experiences that, you know, he's had in the past, and he's very helpful, he's supportive, and he's just somebody that's very nice to have around. Like he's very engaging, he's very much committed to the women's team, and he's very much involved in trying to help us grow and you know, become like a force in the WSL.
Hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully.
things are on the up. He's had a good career, hasn't he, Emile Heskey? Obviously,
Yeah.
Villa, Liverpool, Leicester. It's just good to see that he's in and around Leicester as like an ambassador and willing to pass his experience on from his footballing career to the ladies. And I think that will help them massively with confidence and stuff like that, especially the strikers who's there, like Sigsworth and that. So it will help them out massively. How does it feel coaching at your hometown club then?
You know what? Because like you said, 17 years, I've been at Leicester for so long. I don't know what it would actually feel like to be anywhere else or, you know, doing anything else, because I'm just used to Leicester. So for me, it's just the norm. Coaching at Leicester, it's what I'm used to. It's where I've been for the past 17 years. It's what I'm used to. It's what I enjoy. Who knows how long, you know, I will be at Leicester for. Like, I think I'm growing as an individual and as a person. Like the question that you said about what does the future hold, I might, you know, might want to go elsewhere to see what is different and to maybe get different experiences. But right now, being at Leicester, I think it's, for me, the first year that we've been in the WSL, I think it's quite special to be at like my hometown club. Like I said, seeing it grow and develop and seeing where we've come from to where we are now, I think it'll be a really enjoyable experience this season. And I think for me, however long I stay here or whatever I do in the future, I think it will always like be a special place. How can it not be? I've basically grown up at this football club.
Yeah, do you guys keep an eye out on what the men are achieving and think is an actual objective we can actually achieve that one day?
Honestly, we do, you know. I think it, like, when you watch Leicester and how they are, they're so exciting. Like, you know, they're just winning the FA Cup, you know, they're pushing to be in this Champions League spot. I honestly think that spurs us on and we kind of take on their confidence that they're doing well and they're achieving good things. I think we want to mirror that, or we kind of feel that. Like there's that kind of feel good factor in the club, and that's both men and women's side. And I think, how can you not feel like you can be a part of that and you can achieve the same things, especially because like Leicester are very supportive as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've got fantastic facilities, and the support that we get places us hopefully in like a good position to succeed and do well. I just think personally, like when you watch Leicester and how exciting they are when they achieve great things, we think equally that, yeah, we can do that too. And we kind of want to match that.
How much of the owner's been a part of your experience then as a football club?
So they're incredibly busy. So I'm not going to say that, you know, we see them every week or we see them very often because you have to respect the fact that they're very, very busy, and, you know, what they do, they have to be in 100 places at once. But what I can say is that they are supportive of us as a club. So whilst we might not see them, the support that we get from them in terms of, like I said, the facility and other things, you know, that is coming from the owners. It's not coming from anywhere else. So for us, I think we're just very appreciative of that. And we are understanding that, of course, they are very busy and they are having to run, a football club, businesses, etc. Like that is very time consuming. So I think it's just nice that sometimes you see teams that they are linked to their men's club, but that's as far as it goes. Here, it's very much like it's not just words. There's actually stuff going on behind the scenes that are supporting us to hopefully get to where we want to be.
Yeah, obviously it's a family-run club, isn't it? From the club down to the fans. I guess Top, as the owner, wants to progress both sides, the women and the men's game, and become the best sides possible and expand as a football club.
Sorry, you broke up just a little bit there. What was the question?
I said Top likes to help out quite a lot and wants the women and the men's to come together and become the best club that they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that shows with the one club approach. And I think that will only help us, achieve more or achieve whatever we can achieve is that one club approach. It's not the men and the women, it's just LCFC.
Yeah, it's a family-run club, isn't it? It's a togetherness. Not just looking at it's the men's game or it's the women's game. It's just Leicester City Football Club, which I guess it's a great philosophy to have. It looks it on a positive side for both sides to the game, and I think it'll involve more men watching the women now and taking an eye on that and going to watch them quite often.
Absolutely, I hope so, because I think it's not. I think we struggle in terms of audience. Sometimes men think that the women's game isn't, as good or they don't want to watch it. But I think with this one club approach, I hopefully think it will but more men will want to watch us because they're watching Leicester City. So you're not just supporting the men's team now, you're actually supporting the women's team too, because that is the club. So hopefully that will help grow people, more specifically men, watching the game, and hopefully it'll be they'll have positive experiences of watching it, because there is that family connection. Because like I said, you're not just watching the men, there's now a female team, and with this one club approach, you should want both teams to do well and to succeed, because at the end of the day, we're both the same.
Yeah, that's it. Last season then, Holly, Leicester won the championship, and what a fantastic season it was. The shining of Natasha, Flint, they all played a part massively, and it just showed how togetherness the girls really were. And Foxes never quit last season. They took it to work and they finished the job off when it mattered.
Absolutely. It was a great season for us. Personally, I think there was a lot of pressure on us because we had gone full time. And I think a lot of people thought, okay, yeah, Leicester are going to win it now, because I think we were the only full-time team in the league. So naturally people think, okay, yeah, like Leicester have to win it. So that pressure is already on us. And I think we tried not to take that pressure on us in the season where we thought, yeah, we have to win. We were just taking it game by game. And I think that helps us a lot, because we weren't thinking about the end result. We were just thinking about game 1, game 2, game 3, when they were coming. And then it's nice to see, like Tash, Flint, fantastic. You had Lashante and you had Paige, who have grown with us, and they came to us young and they've matured. And watching them last season and how they've grown and actually how they dealt with the full-time change, they had fantastic seasons. And then you've got the likes of Charlie Devlin and Ashley Plumpter, that were also a part of our team the season before, how they've grown and they were solid for us. So it's nice to see how players that we had invested in a few seasons back, they've grown and developed and they've come into their own. And then it was also nice to see new players like Tash. We've always wanted her, and it was so nice to finally get her last season. And to see those new players also excel and add and contribute to the success was really, truly special.
Yeah, I think Jonathan played a massive part in the women's getting promoted last season. What a fantastic job he did, taking it on from a reserve manager to an actual named club. He told the girls, you know what, go and get the job done. You can do this. He made them believe in their own abilities, and they were enjoying the experiences and the ride as the season went on.
Jonathan, like, he's excellent at man managing. I think football is so incredibly difficult because every player is different. Sometimes players, they need an arm around the shoulder. Sometimes a player, they need you to be really hard on them. And Jonathan, he knows his players. And because he knows them so well, he knows what approach to take. He knows what they need. Yeah. He knows what to say. He knows how to act. And I think how he went about last season, it was truly tiring for him, because whilst on the outside it might have looked easy that we were winning games, it definitely wasn't easy for us last season in terms of training. Because of COVID, we had different training venues. We had our own issues. Like, it's very hard just to run a team. Like, if you're thinking you've got about 22, 24 players that you're trying to keep happy, I don't think any manager will ever tell you that they can ever keep all 24 players happy. And then he's got staff as well. So the way that he managed everybody last year, it took a lot out of him, but credit to Jonathan for being able to get the best out of people. And I think that helped massively in allowing us to be consistent from minute one to the end.
Yeah. How good does it feel then for Leicester City Women to be linked up with Leicester City in general? Obviously, it's a year on now since Leicester City Women became Leicester City. I guess they were fantastic, wasn't it? All these new signings coming in, the squad built. Obviously, you came in as captain and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think before the integration, I think we had done well to keep the club sustainable. I think we had pushed it as far as we could. And then with the new signings, I think we were never going to be able to do that without the support of Leicester. So whilst, you know, we did well to keep the club sustainable and to kind of compete, the integration that we had with Leicester it came at a very, very important time. And the support that they've given us has now helped us to get to the next level. And I think that's so important, because I think in the women's game, well, in any, like, the more support you have financially, and also the support that you also get with the club by the name of the club, what the club can provide you, will only allow you to get better. And unfortunately, the clubs that then lose the support or don't have the backing, regardless of who you are, whatever club you are, you can't really push and get to the next level. So for us, we've seen those changes, and being able to bring in, you know, new players and being able to have a new training facility, that has definitely helped us to get to the next level. And now it's our job to push to get to the next level, which is to be a competitive team in the WSL that will hopefully in a few years' time be competing with the top teams. But let's just get this season out of the way with, and let's just be safe for this season first.
We'll move on to some stats and that later on for this season for Leicester City Women. Guys, smash a like if you're enjoying the show so far. Subscribe to Leicester Fan TV if you're new and you're looking forward to our Leicester City Women's content this season. We're going to do everything Leicester City Women, also the men's game as well. So it's going to be something different. We're going to mix it up. We're going to focus on both sides of the game. Holly, Brendan's blueprint then. He's obviously passed it over to you guys at Leicester City Women, what he's been using at Leicester City Men. What's the source then?
What's the source?
Wow. What's the source?
I'm not going to reveal too much. I'll let Brendan do that in case I said something that he doesn't want me to say or share. But it was truly special in terms of being able to hear that, because it also aligns us. So whilst we have our blueprint, I think it's so, you know, important for both teams to kind of have that common goal, that common blueprint, that common DNA. So listening to Brendan and understanding his side of things and what it's like and how he manages and how he's able to get the best out of people. No doubt, I'm sure Jonathan took, you know, a few points away from there, but it was also nice to kind of see the similarities already in terms of what Jonathan's put in place and also what Brendan's blueprint is. And what he's put in place since he's been at Leicester. So I think for us, whilst I'm not going to give away like any details, I think it was nice to see like some similarities, but also it was nice for us to learn from what Brendan pointed out and how we can implement that into our team and our kind of workings.
Yeah. Do you think Brendan's blueprint then will help you this season massively, and obviously Brendan's experience as well?
I think so. I think Brendan's made it very clear that he's supportive of the women's team and he's there, you know, if and when we need him. In terms of the blueprint, I think what he was sharing with us in terms of, you know, what he expects from his players, what he expects from his staff, the style of play. Like I said, it is very similar to kind of Jonathan's values and views. So I think for us, I hope we have success, because I think what Jonathan has tried to instill kind of should hopefully allow us to play well, to be professional, to act in the right way, to kind of be a team, both as players and staff and as one. But it'll always be nice to be able to catch up with Brendan and update one another on how things go, because like, you know, in the game, you have one game where you could lose and all of a sudden like things change. How do you manage it? Like players all of a sudden get an attitude, or they think this or they think that. And I think for Jonathan, it'll be good for him to kind of have Brendan to kind of like talk to about that player management side and how you can always get the best out of players.
Obviously Brendan's good man management, is he, with the younger players, and that he makes them turn out to be £100 million players. If you look at Wesley Fofana and that in the men's squad, maybe he'll be able to help turn Jonathan Morgan into a person like that, who's very good and got them skills and qualities what Brendan's got, and pass them on to the women's team and help the younger players out who's playing at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the experience that Brendan has will always help Jonathan. But I think as a club, we've been quite known for having young players. I think we've always recruited young. And I think as a club, we've been good at growing and investing our time in these young players to see them now. So like I said before, like you've got Lashante and Paige, who have come through and they've grown and they've matured. And that's taken a lot of time, like Jonathan's time, my time, other coaches' time, to get them to where they are now. Of course, like they've worked hard, but I think, as you're saying, like with Brendan and his man management and how he's grown these young players, I think when I think of Jonathan and Brendan, I think they're quite similar like that. So again, I think like their relationship is quite good because they do share a lot of similarities. And I think for Jonathan, it's just good for him to have somebody that he can go to for advice or support, or just to kind of bounce ideas off of. So I think it's great for us because, like I said, as a club, it's a one club approach. So our styles are very much different. So our style of play is quite similar. So I think that also helps us because we're kind of working off of the same hymn sheet.
Yeah, it's good to have that support and backing, isn't it? When things ain't going right on the field, you can have that shoulder to cry on, basically, where Brendan can say, you know what, this is where you need to be better next game. Jonathan could sit and say, oh, or Jamie Vardy could do this next game. Make sure he does that well. Let's talk about Jonathan Morgan. Done a fantastic job at the Leicester City Women. He's become very well known in the women's game now, and he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, he has. Like you said before, like he started off as the reserve team manager, and it's funny because, like, I don't even think he wanted to. It was just because, like, at that point in time, when my dad was the chairman, we didn't have a manager, we didn't have a coach, and my dad was like, Jonathan, can you just help me out for a couple of games? Like, I just need somebody to take the team. He took the team for a couple of games, and he just fell in love with it. And since then, he's been 100% committed to the club, and he's just kind of grown in experience that now, being able to watch him on Saturday manage his first game in the WSL is truly deserved, because the time that he's spent and committed to this club and to getting us to where we are now, he thoroughly deserves this season of showcasing himself as a manager. But I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I guess it just shows how hard work pays off, Holly. It just shows how much Jonathan has come and he's matured very well. And he's done quite a lot for this Leicester City Women, and he's bided his time with it, and he's executed it perfectly. Obviously, they're in the biggest women's league in the world now, so hopefully he can step up a bit more and go and win us that trophy at the end of next season, or maybe stay up.
Absolutely. Look, if we win the trophy at the end of the season, I think we'll be celebrating for a good few weeks. But honestly, like our aim, we just want to compete, and we want to stay up. Like that's our number one goal. You know, we don't want to go up to come back down. But at the same time, Jonathan is very ambitious. So whilst we know that it's going to be a tough task, we're not just going up there to defend and just to kind of like try to, you know, do this deep block and just get our way through. We want to show our personality. We want to show teams who we are. And Jonathan's very passionate and committed to not just kind of like being scared. He's very brave and courageous in his decisions. And I think he gives confidence to his players to let them or make them believe that, yeah, we've come up, but we're capable of going to, you know, Chelsea and showing them who we are. Yes, Chelsea are going to be incredibly hard. They're like, for me, they're the best team, in my opinion, in the league at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we're realistic, but at the same time, you know, Jonathan's brave in the fact that he still wants to showcase who we are as a team. So we'll see how that goes. When we play Chelsea, and whatever the scoreline is, I'll get back to you on what we thought.
I think this season for you guys will be about the experiences. Obviously, Leicester's men have featured against Manchester City, Man United, the best teams on offer in the Premier League. Obviously, the women are going to do the same, playing against the European sides of Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, all the bigger clubs. And it'll be a great game to see coming up against them and showing what you guys have done and what you guys are about. Make it hard for them sorts of teams and don't make them think you can just roll you under the carpet and just think you're a pushover, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, a lot of that will come with mindset and mentality. Yeah. And again, that's where Jonathan has worked really hard to communicate to the players. Like you just said, we're not going to be a pushover. We're not just going to roll over and just let teams just walk all over us. And this preseason, he's done a lot of work in, you know, allowing players to believe that, yes, we're Leicester City. Yes, we've just come up, but we're Leicester City. Like, let's be aggressive. Let's play our game. So I'm excited. Those games will be tough, but all games will be tough because we'll have games where, you know, people, you know, teams at the bottom end of the table, they're going to be fighting for their lives. So whoever we play, going to be tough. There's not going to be one easy game for us this season. But I think what's important for us is that we remain committed to who we are and we don't change that.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you look at teams on paper, people always seem to write us off. They've done it with Leicester City men, or that you're going to get battered, this, that, and the other. You ain't got a chance. And I think that's what they're going to do with Leicester City Women this season. They'll write you off even before you've even kicked a ball. And then you guys will slap them in the face and say, you know what, say that next time. We're coming in it. We're going to make it. We're going to fight our way through this season, and we're going to take on anybody. And I think that's the mindset you've got to have.
Absolutely. We're fighters. I think, like, we don't give up. So whatever happens, I know that in every game that we'll play knowing that we've tried, we've done our best. And whether that is good, whether it's bad, whether it's a win or a loss, at least we know that we fought. And I know that and Jonathan's done very well in terms of his recruitment. He's recruited the right people for his style of play, the mindset that he wants. And I think the new signings, as well as the girls who were retained from last season, all of them are going to be so important for us this year.
I'm looking forward to the partnership of Natasha Flint and Jess Sigsworth next season. there's been quite a lot of talk about them both on social media. I'm looking forward to watching that from a spectator next season, back in the women and watching them two score and pair up like Vardy and Mahrez.
Yeah, to be honest, like they're very exciting players, both as individuals and together as a pairing. And to be honest, what's even more exciting is that you've got Jess and Tash who link up really well, but then we have other girls, Lashante, Paige, Shannon, who at the same time, you put them with Tash and Jess, they link up. It's just, I feel like they are all so dangerous that it should be exciting for whoever's watching us to hopefully watch a game where, you know, we get goals.
Yeah. You guys have been very busy this transfer window. You've signed some very good players. You've signed Connie Schofield, Abby McManus, Abby Grant, Georgia Brewer, Gemma Perfield, Molly Pike, and Jess Sigsworth.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jonathan recruited really well. He knew what he wanted. I think because of our style of play, I'm not going to give too much away. If any of the opposition teams are watching this, I'm not going to let them know. But our style of play, Jonathan recruited for players that can all have attributes in certain areas. And we've seen that throughout all of pre-season, that they fit the style, right mentality. So those new signings have really added a lot of depth, experience, freshness to the squad that we already had. And I think the way that the girls have actually gelled this year has been amazing. Last year we struggled with that a lot, but this year it seemed to just be a lot more easy. Just very much, it just happened naturally. And I think that's helped us a lot. So going into the first game of the season, we feel, it feels like a team that's well connected.
Yeah, it's good to have that ability, isn't it, Jono, when a football team where they've got togetherness and that team spirit and that confidence as a group.
Mm.
Yeah, very tight-knitted.
You know, everyone looks at Leicester and we're not just Leicester men, but Leicester as a whole, you know, brand is a family club. You know, when Vichai sadly passed away in 2015, you know, not, you know, the whole football club was affected, and you know, the players, you know, when they in the changing room celebrating when we win trophies, they're all family relationships. So I think what Top is doing is not just creating a women's team and men's team, is creating a union of, you know, every member of staff, every player, you know, from people working in the shop to people, you know, working in, you know, doing all the cleaning. Everyone's a massive family. So I think, you know, even in the changing rooms, you know, we're a family. And I think that was being implemented through everything for like the club.
Absolutely. You get that feeling, and I think it just adds a different dimension to the game. And I think sometimes that's what makes, I think that's what makes Leicester special, and that's what makes Leicester different to other clubs. And you can be a big name club like Man City or, you know, Man U or Chelsea, but Leicester, why they're so special is because of that family feel. Yes, it's a club. Yes, we're here to play football, but sometimes it's bigger than that. And I think that's what gives us, like I said, that further dimension to the club. And I think the success that Leicester get comes from that.
Yeah. How important is the Belvoir Drive training facility then, Holly? You guys are there every day, nearly. I don't know if you guys have a day off within the week. Obviously, it used to be Wednesdays for the men's. I don't know about the women, but how is that impacted the way you guys have planned ahead of the new season?
You need to talk to Jonathan about the days off. Get on him, because at the moment,
pass it on.
Yeah, but no. The training facility, honestly, it's so different because most teams like have access to a training facility, but it's not based on their schedule. With us at Belvoir Drive, that's our home, so we are the only team using it. So we are in control of when we train, what time we train, when we train, where we train, how long we want to train for. There's none of this nonsense around, oh, you can't go in because the men are there, you've got to wait, or you've got to stay in the car park until they finish, or sorry, you can't train at this time, the men are here, so you have to have the time that nobody really wants. That has helped us massively because our schedule we are in control of. And I think by having that control, allows you to do so much more. You have that freedom, you have that flexibility. And I think with some female teams, and it's a shame, but when you have these facilities, these training facilities that you do share with a men's team, whilst it's great that you can share the facility, you don't actually have control and freedom over what you can do and when you want to do it. So for us, I know it's played a massive part in, I mean, if you can train well, that's only going to support you for the game on the weekend. And for us, we're in a fantastic place where we can train. The pitches are in pristine condition. We have access to, you know, a gym, grass pitches, indoor area. So for us, we are very, very fortunate, and we don't take that for granted. And I think it's nice for us because honestly, we've come from training grounds where, you know, you're training in basically a car park or
Elston Park and that.
Yeah, and even before Elston Park, we were at I can remember my dad. We used to train somewhere in Blaby where he had to put in a £1 coin every like 10 minutes to keep the lighting on. So we've trained at different venues, different places, you know, where you don't have toilet facilities, etc. So now that we're at Belvoir Drive, we kind of feel spoiled because, you know, if we need the grass watering, we just tell the groundsman, like, can you put the water on for 5 minutes? Stuff like that. It might seem really small, but like the fact that we have the ability to just water the pitch 5 minutes before we want to train to make it nice and wet and, you know, a fast pitch for us. Sometimes stuff like that I can't get over, that we actually are training and are able to do certain things. And I don't think we'll ever take it for granted because of where we've come from.
It just shows how well the club's been run. Obviously, the men used to train there, so it's been put into good hands and it's been executed perfectly in the plan. The new training ground down the road in Seagrave, where the men are now training. Obviously, the women have now took over Belvoir Drive, which is fantastic, and it keeps it going within the football club. Obviously, plenty of memories have been done there as well. Plenty of players have come and gone, legends as well. So I guess that's good in the women's mind to think, you know what, legends have played here. Let's go and make my mark.
Absolutely. And I think for us, with the men passing it on to us, we want to make our own memories and kind of have our own legacy there now. Because like you say, Belvoir Drive, so many special memories with the men, like players who have grown there, the special things that have been achieved during that time training there. I think it's also a nice thing for us now to stamp our own kind of feet on the ground and to showcase what we can do and what we have achieved. So I think it's nice that they've kind of passed on the baton to us.
Yeah. Preparations for the new season then, Holly. What have we been taught on the training pitch and what are we expecting for the first game of the season?
So I think it will be a very exciting game for the first game of the season. For us as a team, we want to be aggressive. We want to be quick. We want to play on the transition. Like, we want to break fast and not even allow the team to, you know where they are in terms of on the pitch. Like, our pre-season preparations have been quite tough to get the girls physically ready for the style of play that we want to play. And I think our style will be exciting for the fans because, you know, I think in terms of our formation and style, we want to get goals. We want to be on the front foot. So hopefully, physically, I think we're in, you know, a good place. So I think for the first game of the season, I think, yes, naturally there will be nerves, but I think there'll be so much excitement that it will just be a quick game because I think people are just, they're ready to go now. I think it's been, 6 to 7 weeks, I think the pre-season period has been. So I know the players are ready now and I feel ready. I think it's been pre-season game after pre-season game. Let's just get a league fixture in now. Let's do it.
Well, you know, you've got Brendan's blueprints. Would you want, even though you've got his blueprints and know his philosophies and stuff like that, would you want the Leicester women to have their own sort of style of football where the league go, right, Leicester women play this way, we need to play our own style to fight that? Or would you like to follow the Leicester men's sort of philosophy and follow that sort of style of football?
Well, our philosophy and style for the past 3 years, it's grown, but it's remained constant in terms of what we want. So we've always been a fast team in terms of we like to press, we like to be aggressive, and we like to play on the transition. So that's a style that like we will continue through. And why it's good is because I think Leicester are very much like that. They're a fast-paced team. They like to break quick, and they are very aggressive, I would say, in going forward. So we share quite a few similarities in terms of the style and philosophy. So I think that actually works really well for us, because sometimes when we are watching the men, we actually learn a bit from their game because it's so similar. We kind of see what works sometimes and what doesn't, and how we can then implement that into our game and our kind of thinking. But for us, kind of like our style and philosophy, we've grown and developed it over the past few years, that I think with the players that we've retained, they know it. And the new players that we've brought in this season, they got it very, very quickly. So pre-season's been very good in terms of the understanding of what we want and expect from them. And hopefully game day one, we'll see that.
What sort of tactics and formations are we looking at then ahead of Saturday, Holly?
Well, I don't know, because there could be a Villa person on here just listening in, trying to get some inside information. So I could tell you the exact opposite. So throw them off the scent and say that we're doing one thing that we're not.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that I think anybody that's watched this in the past, and it was a shame because of COVID last season, but before COVID, like our style hasn't changed in terms of, like I said, we're aggressive, we're fast, we want to be on the front foot, and we like to play on the transition. So we'll continue to try and do that. Of course, in the WSL, we're not foolish in thinking that we can do that all the time. Tactically, sometimes you have to adapt to a certain team that you're playing against and what their formation might be and how we think that we can exploit that. But I think overall, we want to be that team that, you know, doesn't give you time on the ball. We want to be that team that is aggressive and will get that ball back as quickly as we can. And when we win it back, we want to be direct. We want to make the most of those opportunities. So we'll see how that works.
Any injuries?
Oh, yes, we have.
I wouldn't say.
I shan't disclose, but I think for any team, it's so hard to not have a player who picks up an injury or who picks up a knock. It's inevitable. I think we are very fortunate because our squad depth is so good that we could have somebody who gets injured and somebody who comes in for that player could equally started or have been in a starting position. So I think we're in a good position there, that our squad depth looks after us if we are struggling with players who are injured. But it's inevitable. Yes, had injuries. Yes, we might struggle with some players through the season, but I think our squad depth will help us with that.
Yeah. Leicester City Women games to be played at King Power Stadium then in front of their fans. How fantastic is that then, considering you guys won the championship with no fans there? This time round, you're going to have them on your back 24/7 from the first minute to the 90, hoping you get that win.
You know what? It'll be lovely to have fans back. I think when we used to play at Quorn, we were really fortunate that we had a lot of our academy girls and supporters from grassroots clubs that we built up a good connection with. And just the noise and the chants and the support. I know people talk about the 12th man, but it really is a thing. It is, we've missed that. So I'm incredibly excited to get that back. To play at the King Power, it's a wonderful opportunity. The only thing I'll say is it's great, but the King Power, it's a carpet, it's a fantastic pitch to play on. It's it's great, but at the same time, it can be a disadvantage in that teams are coming to play on a really lovely pitch. Sometimes, you know, like on an away game and you've got to go to a stadium or a pitch that's not the best, and you know you're going to have to grind out a win, or it's just going to be like one of those games where it might be a little bit bobbly or it's going to be tough to play your style. The problem is at the King Power, because it's such a pristine pitch and, you know, it's like a carpet, teams can come to us and play their game in a way because it's such a great stadium. And pitch that we're providing. So hopefully we'll need like the support from the fans to just cheer us and kind of
booty away team.
Give us that support and
go on their back.
Yeah, literally from minute 1 to minute 90, be on their
That's
case.
It. Let them know that they're not wanted.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it like then? Season tickets for the new women's season in WSL. £40 for a season ticket. It's very good, very cheap. And I really hope everybody who's watching this or hasn't purchased a season ticket, I'd go and get one if I was you, because this season's going to be a very interesting and a very good watch.
Absolutely. Honestly, for all those watching, please buy a season ticket, because I can guarantee that you will see exciting, entertaining, competitive football. And where else to watch it than at the King Power? It's our home. Yeah. That's where we are. That's where Leicester is based. That's where, you know, the magic happens. So get a season ticket and come and support us, because the football that we play is exciting. And I think the players that we've brought in and the players that we've retained, you're going to want to watch them, and you're going to want to watch them live. So be a part of the journey with us, because I think it's going to be a special one. And I think it'll be lovely for as many people as possible to be a part of it.
Yeah, let's hope we'll be celebrating staying up or even winning the trophy next season. Who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Never write Leicester City Football Club off like they have with the men's team. Don't write the women's off either. You're going to be full of surprises.
You never write Leicester City off.
Yeah, Leicester City, you can never write us off, because we just pull it out the bag. We always go, you know, sometimes like just under the radar, but we're always there and we're special. We are a special club.
Yeah, special club of great owners and great two managers, Jonathan Morgan and Brendan Rodgers. You can't get better managers than that, unless you're Manchester. If you think you're Manchester City, then that's just money over there. We don't do that sort of thing. This weekend then is our first game of the season away at Aston Villa at the Bank Stadium at Walsall.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think for us, I'm so excited for that game, because it's going to be a game where both teams, I think, will think that they can beat the other. So I think it's going to be a battle to the end. We are going for the 3 points. We want to win. Yes, it's the first game of the season. Yes, there are going to be nerves, but I think we just have to stick to our game plan. But I think it'll be a fantastic opening game, because not that it's a rivalry, but it feels like one. You know, we're quite close in terms of location. I think we will want to show Villa that, look, we've come up, but we can do it. We're not scared of you. We're not scared of anyone. And I think Villa will want to kind of build from their season last year. You know, they had a hard time, but, you know, with a new manager, they've got new players. I think they'll kind of want to show themselves as well. So I think both teams will be at it, and I think both teams will want the win. So it'll be a great first game, and I'm incredibly excited for it.
Yeah, hopefully it's a cracker to start off the Women's Super League. Guys, if you haven't got a ticket, go and get one. Going to support the women in Walsall. Go and make the noise and go and back the women, because they'll need you 100%. Go and be like 12th man and go and get them over the line and get out win for the first time in the season. Remy Allen, former Leicester City player as well. She's at Aston Villa, isn't she? So
yes.
What can you tell us about her?
I think, like, Remy, very good player. I think, of course, she played for us last season. You know, she was very good for us last season. But for us, we know her as a player, so we know kind of what we need to deal with in terms of her game, how we can stop her game. I think for us, and I don't know how this is for other clubs, but, you know, if a player leaves, or, you know, you once, you know, a player was on your team and then they've gone somewhere else, I feel like you kind of have that want to kind of show them like, yeah, we can do this. So I think there's going to be that on Saturday, where we kind of want to prove a point, and we kind of want to show them like, yeah, we can do this. So like I said, we know Remy's game. We know what we need to do to stop or prevent her from playing her game. So like I said, if we stick to the game plan, it shouldn't be a problem. But it'll be a fantastic occasion. And like you were saying, the more support we get there, the better. It's an away game. It's a shame that it couldn't be a home fixture for our first game, but I hope that we can get as many people down as possible, because truly the support does make a difference.
Yeah, but as we've seen in the men's game, the crowd getting behind them makes a difference, doesn't it? And it makes them up their game and perform to even higher levels than you expect the player to. Are we still in the FA Cup, Andy Schuber asked?
Yes, we are. We are playing.
Is it Manchester City?
We always seem to play Man City. It's always Man City.
Is it this month, September? Man City.
Yes, it is. So yeah, we've got Man City. For some reason, like, we just know it's going to be Man City whenever we get like drawn to someone. So that will be a very good game, actually, because the last time we played them in the FA Cup as well, we lost 2-1.
Did you score a penalty, did you?
Yes, we did.
They did as well, didn't they?
Yeah. And we played very well in that game. So I think with the team that we've got now and just like the training and where we are as a squad, I think that'll be a very good game too. So looking forward to that.
Right then, let's have a look at the odds for Leicester City Women, or 5,000 to 1. Would you
Is that what it is?
To go and win the Women's Super League next season?
That's 5,000 to 1.
Even Leicester City had the Premier League at that odds, and we went on and surprised everyone and went and won it. So why can't Leicester City Women go and get a pound on them?
You know what? If I could, I would, but we're not allowed to bet. So I can't be involved in that, but I would definitely put money on that.
Fantastic. Right then, Holly, it's been a pleasure having you on. Let's go and cheer the ladies on Saturday, guys. If you're going, go and be loud and proud, and let's go and get them over the line for their first game of the season.
Thank you so much for having me. I think he's gone. Has he gone?
Himself out.
But no, thank you so much for having me, and hopefully we can see as many people as possible for our first game of the season. And if not, hopefully as many people can get a season ticket so we can see them at
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're back.
Kick me out.
Thank you so much for having me, and hopefully we can see as many people as possible at our games.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and good luck for the season, and let's get them up that table.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
See you later, Holly.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
That's Holly Lenjono. Fantastic host. Shame I don't know what happened there. I don't know how it kicked me off, but you know, we're there and we're going to end the show. Anything you want to say, Jono, before we end the show?
I'm just happy that the women's team's progressing as much as they are. I didn't know as much as the women footballers I did before Morgan came on, but no, I think they can do really well. And like she said, £40 for a season ticket, not just a game, a season ticket, is bargain for money when you're going to see football at the King Power Stadium. It's not just watching women's football; it's watching football and the atmosphere of the King Power Stadium. So definitely get yourself down there and support the women, support Leicester City, the club.
Yeah, right then, Jono. Let's see what's coming up. So we've got the Friday show with Reedy at 7:30 this week, and we've got the legendary Jamie Preston on at 9:30 on Sunday. Me and Tom will be back with the Premier League prediction show next Thursday to see who got the most points from last weekend's results. I'm looking forward to that one. Jono, you've been a great guest. Thank you for coming on. Pleasure having you on.
No problem.
Guys, before I let you all go, smash a like for me if you've enjoyed it. Smash a like for the Leicester City Women as well. It'll give them good luck for the season ahead in the WSL. Really looking forward to it. Aston Villa away on Saturday. If you haven't got a ticket, go and get one. If you haven't got a season ticket, £40. Cheap as chips. Go and get one. Go and get behind the girls next Saturday. Sorry, next Sunday at the King Power Stadium as they take on Manchester United Women. So, yeah. Last few comments. Andy Sheba, I've got one 5,000 to 1. Let's put money on it, of course. Jack, how do you get to choose where you sit? You can sit anywhere. As soon as you buy the season ticket, you can pick wherever you want to sit. Holly, look out for Jack at the stadium when we play. Of course, we will be doing some content for the Leicester City Women on Leicester Fan TV this season. So be sure to go and check that out for me, guys. It'd be much appreciated. Really looking forward to doing the Leicester City Women this season, all the content and that. Maybe some watch-alongs and stuff like that, some content before and after the game, player ratings and that. So, yeah, go and check that out. Neil Birchenough won the competition for the pizzas. So, well done to him. If you want to win 2 pizzas like Neil did, predict the first goal scorer and correct final score for Manchester City, and you could be feeling like you're in Italy. Very nice looking pizzas. And also on Leicester Fan TV, we've got a Pucker Pie competition. What minute will Leicester City first score against Manchester City? Win yourself and a friend a £20 trip to the Chippy. How does that sound on a Saturday night? Interesting. That's a load of selfies coming up from Jack. Jack, what is it? I just want to go Villa away. How do I get a ticket? Contact Aston Villa box office and they will sort you out for the Leicester City tickets. So, yeah, go and give them a call. Right, guys, before I go, smash a like as always if you've enjoyed the show tonight on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to Leicester Fan TV on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you can find us on Leicester Fan TV. And thank you to all the sponsors tonight. It's been great. Thank you for Holly Morgan for coming on. She was a fantastic guest. So this is Jack from Leicester Fan TV saying good night and see you all next Wednesday for the Away Fan Chat show. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pucka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hologram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, and Hope Against Cancer. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.